Hey, this is Casey Ferris. Thanks for checking out another one of my videos. Today I just have a short, simple tutorial. And what we're going to be looking at today is making proxies with Adobe Media Encoder. And we're going to set it up to automatically do a little bit of color correction to our shots. Because if you shoot any type of log format, your footage comes in desaturated, it comes in flat, and it's just not that pleasing to look at. And so when you edit, it's nice to be looking at an image that is a little bit more pleasing to the eye, a little bit more fun to cut. So this is Adobe Media Encoder, and I'm going to go to this plus icon that says Add Source. And here I have a whole bunch of footage. This is all shot in ProRes on the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera. And so just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to grab 2 or 3 of these shots here and open them up. And once I hit OK, it adds these to the queue. So if I were to hit the Start Queue button, it would start transcoding each one of these clips and make a new clip. And it just assigns them the default render settings or whatever you used last. But what we want to do is set up our own preset. So I'm going to go over to my preset browser and I'm going to hit the plus button. And that brings up your preset settings. So the first thing I'm going to do is give this a name, and I'll call this Blackmagic Proxy with LUT. H.264 is great, and I can base this on a preset, but I probably will just leave it right now. Comments, and I'm just going to say proxy with ground control LUT because that's what we're going to be using today. Export video and audio, that sounds great. First thing I'm going to do is go to my video tab. I'm just going to uncheck all of these because I want to make sure that I like these settings. So I know this footage is shot at 23.976, but I actually am going to click that because if we shoot different frame rates, I don't want to have to worry about it, changing the frame rate and everything. I just want it to be the same. I'm going to do the same thing with the width and the height. Field order, I always want progressive. Aspect, I want square pixels. TV standard, NTSC, profile is going to be high. Level, I'm going to do 4.0. Then I'm also going to check render at maximum depth. These settings are just generally what I will use for just about any preset in Encoder, because just about everything I shoot is progressive and square pixels, and the profile and the level are kind of complicated, but usually if you set it that, it works great. And now I'm going to go down to bitrate settings. Now because we're doing H.264 and I know we're doing proxies, I'm not super worried about this. I just want it to look good enough to cut with, and so I like to just do like 15 and 15, and that seems to work pretty well. Looks pretty nice. If you were doing something to upload to YouTube, I would increase both of these to maybe like 25 and 50, something like that. That seems to come out really nice on YouTube, but this is just a cut with, so I'll just call it that. And audio, AAC 48, that sounds great, 320, perfect. MP4 is fine, captions and publish I don't need to worry about. So now I have my basic video settings. I could just call this good and render proxies, but we're going to go one step beyond that. So I'm going to go over to my effects tab right here. And here we have a bunch of little tweaks and stuff that we can do to this footage. And the first one, my favorite one, I'm going to hit Lumetri Look / LUT. And here there's a list of a bunch of different LUTs that you could put on this footage, but we're going to go to select because we want a custom LUT. And I'm going to select my GC BMD film to 709. This is a LUT from Ground Control that is absolutely free. If you go to groundcontrolcolor.com and go to free LUTs, click on that, and here we have free Blackmagic BMD film to Rec 709 LUT. All you have to do is sign up and you can download this LUT for free. So go there if you don't have this LUT. There's also other free LUTs. There's LUTs for footage shot with CineStyle if you're shooting on Canon cameras. There's a LUT for GoPro, and there's new LUTs coming out all the time, and you can apply any of these LUTs the exact same way that I'm about to do right now. So check those out. So I'm going to select BMD film to 709 and hit open. And now image overlay I'm not going to worry about. You can put a custom image over it if you want to. Name overlay I like to do, and I'll click that. Source file name, top center, that sounds great. Now we'll go to Timecode Overlay. I'm also going to click that. Bottom center sounds great. I'll generate timecode, and we'll go to 24 frames a second. Start at 0. If you're doing something that's really, dependent on timecode, and you have things synced with timecode and everything, you probably don't want to generate timecode. You probably want to do it from the media file. Everything I do is just synced manually or with pluralize, and so it makes more sense to me to generate the time code, because then I know how far into the clip it is and it's not some arbitrary number that the camera assigned. So that sounds great. I'm going to hit OK. My new preset is going to show up here, Blackmagic Proxy with LUT. And what I can do is select all of my footage, and I'm going to go down to this drop down thing here because I already have H.264 selected because I know this is an H.264 preset. And under preset, I'm going to hit this drop down arrow, and I'm going to select Blackmagic Proxy with LUT, which is what I just did, and it switches all of these to Blackmagic Proxy with LUT. Now if you click on any of these links under preset and bring it up, it shows you a preview of what your footage is going to look like. Right here's my overlay. This is the name of the original media, and I have my time code, and as I go forward it counts up, so that's awesome. And I also have my look applied. We have a guy dragging a sword on the ground, and you'll see the difference between the original footage, like that, and the LUT. And the reason this looks so good is because this LUT was specifically designed for Blackmagic footage. And so you want to pick the LUT that was shot for your camera, because it'll make it look pretty good without much work. And you can just automatically apply it to all of your footage, and it won't look perfect. You would obviously do a better job if you were color correcting it yourself, but it's really quick and you can do it in a batch. And so this looks pretty good. I'm going to hit OK, and I'm just going to check a couple of my other clips. This looks pretty good. I'm just going to switch it on and off. That's a pretty good grade for this shot. Switch to this shot. Pretty good. So all of my footage is ready to render now, and it's going to name it the exact same name by default as my original footage. So we have 0003.mov, this is 0003.mp4. This extension doesn't really matter that much when you're working with Premiere. It just looks for the file name. And so the good thing is you'll be able to switch that out later, either automatically, or if you have a lot of trouble, you can at least find which clip this is from. And if you have tons and tons of trouble, then it says it right in the footage, which is really great. So now what I want to do is just pick where to put my footage. So I'm going to select it all and click on one of them, and I'll find my project folder. And here I have a file called Proxies, and I'm just going to select that folder, and it's going to put everything in that Proxies folder. And so now everything looks good, all my settings are set, and now I can hit play. And it will start the queue. So now I'll have proxies that I can cut easily, that look pretty good, that are viewable, that everyone likes. And pretty much I look like a rock star, even though all I did was make a preset and throw it over a bunch of footage. So I hope this was helpful for you. Anyone who wants to make proxies or dailies using this type of workflow. If you have any questions about this, hit me up in the comments. If you like this video, hit like. If you want more videos like this, subscribe. And for free LUTs, make sure to check out groundcontrolcolor.com. I would appreciate that a lot. Once again, my name's Casey Ferris. I'll catch you next time.